Hey guys, what's up? It's been a minute. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna let you guys know what I'm doing and what I'm coloring in, and then we'll talk about what's going on with me in life and where I'm at right now. I drew this street side with the intentions of like painting it in with gouache. And as you can see, I have some color on the paper already. But when I started it with gouache, I realized I don't have paintbrushes thin enough to give the piece the detail that I would like out of it. So I came back to it later another day with alcohol markers. And to be honest, I'm not sure if I like it yet. I feel like it's colorful and it catches your eyes, but it doesn't really invoke the feeling I feel like the reference picture gives you. I think I left too many parts of it ambiguous, so then the whole piece is ambiguous instead of like leaving some parts ambiguous and getting detailed with other parts. I don't even know if that makes sense, but if that makes sense, then you know. Because I feel like that's another thing. I feel like the colors are bright and they're pretty, but they don't make sense together. And I think that that's something that could be a lot better. Life update. It's kind of hard to even encapsulate what my life has been like for the past month and a half. It's difficult for me to remember things when I'm elevated emotionally. I find that my memory is even worse than usual. And it's just hard to put words to something that's been mostly feelings, I guess. Or like, I got a job. It is full-time, so it's been taking up a lot of my time. Part of the reason I kind of fell off of making consistent videos. It's only temporary, but it's gonna be a hindrance until like May. I'm also currently applying for grad school. I'm still up in the air if I want to go. And to be honest, if I really wanted to go to grad school, I should have been applying months ago, but I didn't know that. I just saw August deadlines and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. No girl, that's like late deadlines, like early deadlines is like January. I really do want to go back to school. I would love to go back to school, but I'm not too sure what I would want to go back to school for. I feel like kind of just applying to see what happens. There is one program I'm kind of like, not kind of, but like really interested in, but I'm not sold on it entirely. Like, I just want to be in love with what I'm going to school for. And I know what I would be in love with going to school for, but I just know that that's not going to correlate in the life path that I want necessarily. So I guess that's where between the rock and the hard place is for me. I've been doing a lot of self-teaching for the past year within the next 2-3 months so that I can focus on creating a portfolio and like strengthening those skills. I've kind of been like all over the place, and I think that a big part of that, which is so crazy that I didn't have this like realization sooner. I think I was sitting on the toilet, I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, that's crazy. And I kind of just like connected some dots to why I feel like I'm not further in my life, I guess. And it just came down to like lack of confidence. And it's not that I'm not confident in my abilities, because I know that I'm smart and I know that I have these skills, blah, blah, blah. I think that I finally understand what it feels like to have imposter syndrome. And that is so crazy because like, when people talk about it, like I understand it. Like I'm like, yeah, like I feel you, but I've never felt them until I felt it. Wow, that's what feeling like an imposter feels like. That's what this feeling is. It holds you back so much. I don't want to take anything away from myself by saying that I should be this place or I should be here, because I feel like in the same breath, you move at your own pace and you're meant to be wherever you are right now. And even if it feels bad right now, later down the line, you'll see that like it worked out the way that it was supposed to. But in the moment, it does feel kind of shitty to be like, damn, I've been holding myself back in the way that I just don't feel like I belong in these spaces. Like I'm not capable of being in these spaces, when it's like I've put in the work. I got the college degree. Like I have the knowledge. I have the willing to learn. I have the you know what I mean? Like I have all these things. It's me. I'm the problem. So I feel like that's difficult to come to terms with, which is weird me saying that, because I feel like I've come to terms with it, but it's now I'm at the point it's like, okay, what am I going to do about it? How am I going to fix this issue of feeling like I don't know where my place is? And I feel like that applies to, you know, the job space and me getting a job within my degree program, which I studied nonprofit art management. There's tons of art jobs. There's tons of nonprofit jobs I could get, but I just haven't. And I've kind of always excused it away as if it's like, okay, that's not the place I want to go into because it's stressful, which I'm not going to take it away, because nonprofit work is very stressful. And that is a reason, like legit reason, why I didn't immediately go into that workforce out of college. But thinking about it, though that was a factor, I think a much bigger factor is that I didn't feel prepared to be in that space. I didn't feel like I knew enough. I didn't think that I was capable of having a big girl job, because like, what did I know to be in that space next to people who've had that job for 20 years? Why did I deserve to be in the same space as them? And that's like crazy, because it's like, of course they're gonna need new people. Yeah, I think that like what helped me come to that conclusion that I was feeling like that, I had a job interview for the job that I have right now. And they asked me, I don't know if it was that job interview or another interview I had, that they had asked me why I wasn't in the job sphere for my degree, like what I got my degree in. And in that moment, I'm thinking, why don't I have a job in the nonprofit space? And it's like, yeah, like I couldn't think of a good reason. Like, I know what my reasons are on the surface. Thinking about it in that moment, I was like, okay, but what are my, like, let's be for real. Like, what are the real reasons? And it's like, because I just didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel like I belonged in that space. And what am I going to do about it? Great question. I don't know. Because now that I'm in the space that I'm contemplating going to graduate school, I can delay getting a big girl job until after I graduate school, right? So if I end up going to grad school, that's not a problem I'll have to tackle until I graduate college again. But if I don't end up going to grad school, or if I wait a little bit longer to go to grad school, then it's like, okay, what am I going to do? Do I want to tackle that imposter syndrome when it comes to having a nonprofit job? And then it makes me think that, like, what other parts of my life does this stretch to? Is that how I feel about my art? Do I feel like an imposter when it comes to my art, or being in the art space, or being capable of like selling art things? And I don't know. I guess because I haven't really tried yet, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel capable. I lied. I feel like I definitely feel a sense of imposter syndrome too when it comes to my art and feeling capable of selling it, because I'm like, I need better art. I need this. I need that. I'm not in the space where I'm ready. And there's tons of quotes. I can't think of a very specific one, but you'll never be ready. You will never be ready, ever. Like, if you're waiting for the moment that you're ready, you'll be waiting forever. And I think that the best time to start is now. This is gonna sound like a whole bunch of like corny things I'm pulling off of Google, but like, it's legit. Like, the best thing to do is to just do it full force, intentionally, and learn as you go. And I think that I've kind of learned that a bit when it comes to like posting and making content, now that I've been doing it inconsistently for like 2.5 years, 3 years. It's still something I have to remind myself of. You gotta get in the mud, bruh. Like, you just gotta do it. Like, you gotta show up for yourself consistently, and that's the only way that you'll start to see the results out of the things that you want, is if you show up for yourself. And I think that I've been trying to make this year a year where I show up for myself. And I mentioned this in my 2024 like goals, is to show up for myself and to try and to give myself a chance. And I've been trying that with a lot of things. I've definitely fell off a little bit in the past 2 months. It's just been a really, really difficult time in my life. I just kind of feel like I'm reaching my breaking point when it comes to how much baggage I can carry emotionally when it comes to other people in my life. And I don't know if that sounds negative, but I am a caretaker. I definitely bear the weight of a lot when it comes to my family and my family life. So it's just been weighing on me really heavy lately. I'm really just trying to figure out how to, I don't know, like, I guess the word is like be hopeful. It's hard. It's a hard time to have hope, obviously in my personal life, but like just in general, like with everything that's going on with Gaza and global warming, bruh, and the social and political fucking, the elections coming up in America. You know what I mean? Like, I can go on and on about the fucked up shit that's going on right now. And I feel like when I was younger, it was like, or especially when I was in college, it definitely felt like you know, I can have a hand in fixing these things. And I think as college went on, excuse me, I feel like as college went on, I definitely probably got a little bit more pessimistic. But 2020 with the pandemic, bruh, really showed me, like, it really showed me how selfish people are. And it's something I've always known. I've always like understood the selfishness of like human beings. I'm gonna say especially Americans. And it's not entirely their fault, because capitalism breeds individuality, which again is selfish. Like it's you know what I mean? I won't go too deep into it, but I understand. But it sucks to like go through that whole pandemic, just see how careless people are in regards to other people's health. So that and then taking that lens of people's disregard for public health, and then looking at how we're currently approaching climate change and how we have been dealing with climate change for the past 10 years. It's just like, imagine how different the world could be right now had they even just took climate change seriously 10 years ago in 2014. You know what I mean? And it's so crazy too, because people talked about how quickly the world started healing itself when we were on lockdown. And then, you know, incidentally, right after restrictions were lifted, you know, shit is right back where it was. And obviously I can't expect the world to be on infinite lockdown to save the planet, but you would hope that that would ignite some people. But then again, some people believe the world is flat. So I do think we're dealing with a difficult bunch to convince that the world is getting warmer. Even though it's so obvious, you know, like I don't know, like how is it not obvious to people that the world is changing within our lifetime? Like I can understand if it's like, okay, climate change is happening so slow that you would not be able to notice for 300 years, but it's happening like within the decades, you know. Like I live in a part of America, I live in the Northeast. We get snowstorms, like it snows over here, like it's cold, it's brick, whatever. I have not seen, like I've seen snow here and there, little here and there, but I have not seen genuine like collection of snow in a long time. In I want to say 6 years, 7 years have I not seen like a good white winter. Shit, a white Christmas. So it is crazy because the weather will happen here where it's like we turned into a rainforest, bruh. All we get is rain. And I don't think people realize that all this rain was supposed to be snow. We just had like a really bad storm like 3-4 days ago on Thursday. Today's Monday, so like 4 days ago. And it was like the winds were really high and it was freezing, but it wasn't cold enough for the rain to be snow. It started slurrying a little bit later in the day, but that morning it was windy, it was raining, and at some point the rain turned into fucking hail. But none of the snow actually collected, and by the time I was leaving work, it was snowing. But by the time the snow was hitting the ground, it was melting immediately. Mind you, that has happened in the past 6-7 years ago where it snowed, but it wasn't cold enough for it to collect, it just melted. But for it to be that windy and raining the way it was, that was definitely in 7 years ago, that was a blizzard. And it's like, where has our blizzards went? And I'm a winter baby. I love snow, I love the cold. So I can understand people being like, well, good riddance, like fuck the snow. And it's like, I understand to an extent, but it's like, you can always live somewhere warmer. Warming up our planet is not a way to get the world to look the way you do. When not to bring in like social justice stuff, climate change will disproportionately affect poor, marginalized folks before it'll get to the rich. You know what I mean? Like the rich have the resources to keep moving around to like parts of the planet that are less hit by these effects. Poor people don't quite have that privilege. Their countries don't quite have that privilege. So it's like, I don't know. It just sucks to feel like the weight of the world, the weight of my future is held in the hands of the 1%. And obviously it could take a collective effort on everyone's part to solve climate change. But I think under capitalism, that makes it very difficult. And I don't want to lose hope, because obviously we need more people to be hopeful in the changes that can happen for our planet. But it's definitely a little difficult. It's definitely a little hard. And I don't know if other people think about this. Like, I've had these conversations with my friends and like with my boyfriend about the realities of climate change and what that looks like. And does that mean I can have children? Is it morally correct? Is it ethically correct for me to have children knowing what world lies ahead for them? Not sure if my kids will be able to live a full, healthy, safe life. Like, obviously, climate change is out the picture. Like, the world is not the most safe place. Like, you can do everything to protect your child. Unfortunate things can happen to them. But is it morally correct to have a child knowing that their lifespan might only be their comfortable lifespan? Their living comfortably lifespan, who knows, 30 years, 40 years? Will they be able to have children and see them grow up? And it's something I think about a lot. I think that that's part of the reason I've been like even more in my head lately. I don't know what's triggered like me to think about existence and life, but I've been very existential lately also. Those are one of those things that you kind of just have to like not think about, or else it's like gonna ruin your life for like 6 months. So you kind of have to be like, ugh, it's whatever, you'll die one day, it's not a big deal. To just keep getting through the days, I guess. Like, you figured out life is meaningless, now what? What do you do now? Life is meaningless, yeah, but that's the fun part. Like, you get to attach meaning to whatever you want to attach meaning to. And anything you don't want to have meaning, you don't attach meaning to. And I feel like that really helped me a lot with a lot of things, like with my social anxiety, with how I feel in public spaces, and how I approach talking to people, how I approach just social situations in general. Obviously, it's not a foolproof method, and I let random shit bother me all the time, but it definitely helped me lessen that, because I'm like, okay, that doesn't matter. Or, you know what? I don't know what that person meant by that, and I'm gonna choose to think positively by whatever they said, even if it sounded like they were upset or whatever. If they didn't tell me they were upset, I'm just gonna take that as they're not upset until they tell me that they're upset. And I'm not gonna ruin my day overthinking. I've been trying to journal a lot, and especially trying to journal not only when I'm sad, because I want to be able to, one, revisit moments where I'm happy, because god damn, is it so like, damn bitch, do you ever have a good day when you're reading your journal and it's just like sad entry after sad entry as a, oh, my life is so shitty right now, like, well, it's me. It's just like, ew. You ever smile, girl? And so I'm trying to journal more of like the days that I feel happy, I feel content. I hope that it made a little bit of sense to you, because I know when I talk, I understand myself, but I be talking in fragments. Sometimes I never finish a thought. I hope you have a good day, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys when I see you.